Good morning. Please rise in body or spirit and join me in our opening hymn, We Give Thanks, number 1010 in the teal hymnal. And of course, the words are on the screen. Oh, we give thanks for this precious day, for all gathered here and those far away, for this time we share with love and care. Oh, we give thanks for this precious day. Oh, we give
Over and over again, it becomes known the peace we seek is seeking us. The joy, a full bud awaiting our attention, justice in our hands longing to be practiced, the whole world learning from within.
This thrilling mote in the universe, laboratory, labyrinth, internalized demands, you are the one you are waiting for. Externalize love, bind us together into a greater self, a complex movement, a generative abundance, an embodied evolution.
Learn to be here. Critique is a seductress. Her door is always open. So what if you get some? We are going further, past reform to wonder. This requires comprehension that cannot fit into words.
Out beyond our children, beyond the end of time, there is a ceaseless cycle, a fractal of sublime, and we come to create it, to soil our hands and faces, loving and loving ourselves and all our places. We light our chalice this morning in the names of love, the love of family that brings us into being, the love of partnered hearts that teach us to trust and help us know that who we are does not end at the barrier of our skin.
The love of friends who help us feel seen and sing our song back to us when we cannot hear it with our ears alone. The community that bathes us in belonging and calls us to see the needs of others as our own.
And the greatest love, the love that will not let us go, even in our fear, even in our failure, even when we are lonely or lost. Love invites us home.
If we listen. It is doing so even today.
I will be your standing stone. I will stand by you. I will be your standing stone. I will stand
Welcome, welcome to the Eno River Unitarian Universalist Fellowship, or ERUUF, as we like to say. I'm Reverend Jacqueline Brett. I'm the lead minister here, and whoever you are, wherever you come from, whatever your race, your gender identities, whomever you love, and wherever you are in your spiritual journey or in your search for truth, meaning, and liberation, we welcome you here in beloved community. If you are visiting with us for the first or perhaps even the second or the third, or just wanting to stand, we invite you to rise in body or spirit so that we might give you an ERUUF welcome. Welcome, welcome. It is so wonderful to see that you have chosen to spend your Sunday morning with us. And in subsequent Sundays, should you choose to return, there is a class called Inquiries for Visitors and Newcomers that we invite you to participate in. It's a series of 8 classes in which you can learn a lot about our congregation and who we are and what we're doing here, and we can learn some things about you as well. And if anyone has a child or children with you, and you would like them to participate in our religious exploration classes, they can follow the other children and parents. You can follow with your child the other children and parents right after the time for all ages, and they will take really great care of you there. Now would be a great time to turn off or down any devices you have on your person. And I want to offer as a reminder, next Sunday is Easter. I can sense by the way the pews look that probably some people are on spring break already, but next Sunday is Easter. We do celebrate it here, and we celebrate it with a UU tradition called the Flower Communion. And so the invitation is for everyone to bring a flower, and then you'll be able to take a flower that someone else has brought. It's just a way that we celebrate that particular holiday. We will also be celebrating Transgender Day of Visibility and Celebration next Sunday as well, with a guest speaker from the LGBTQ Center of Durham. And we will also sing the Hallelujah Chorus as we do every Sunday every Easter. and all of you will be invited to sing along with the choir. So if that's something you're interested in, practice up, get ready. You don't have to practice, but if you want to sing, that would be great. Anyway, this is the last Sunday of our pledge drive, and our wonderful, wonderful pledge drive co-chairs. Join me in giving them a hand. I think they were pretty darn awesome. So you get to hear from them one more time. That's Hillary Zelazinski and Lisa Jones. They have a final word for you.
Good morning. Just as COVID-19 was showing up in the news in the United States, we were about to celebrate the fact that our nearly 1-year-old Amelia was finally turning a corner. Y'all, those first 11 months of her life were really tough. She screamed, she cried a lot. So we were really excited to see the light at the end of the tunnel and celebrating her new milestone. But then we had to quickly pivot. Life got canceled, birthdays got canceled. We were isolated from everyone in the outside world, yet we still tried to manage through Zoom worships here at ERUUF. But with 2 small kids, I know some of you might be able to relate, under the age of 4 at that time, and no nursery care in your home, it became really difficult for us to kind of stay connected. We started to find solace in family nature worship by exploring great trails around Durham on Sunday mornings, and I oftentimes found a time out for myself by putting in earbuds and going for a long walk and listening to the service on my own. What a gift. We started singing a simple song during that time that we learned here at ERUUF that resonated really loudly to us, especially during the kids' bedtime. When I breathe in peace. When I breathe out love. On really tough days, that song kept us grounded. It became a grounding force for our children and our household, and that stands today. During that time, we also made our choice to remain sustainers. I was lucky enough to still work in a virtual environment and transition into that mode pretty easily. But we also knew our physical distance from ERUUF was only temporary, and we desperately wanted to make sure we did our part to continue to make this congregation continue to thrive, even in the midst of unprecedented lockdown. We continued to ground in that and keep breathing in peace and breathing out love, and knowing that adults and children all around us can see a future where our values and our principles thrive. A few months ago, when Jacqueline actually called to see if I would help support the pledge campaign, our son Benjamin had been having a tough time getting to sleep and feeling worried about the fear of bedtime. Now that he's 7, his request was, "Mom, will you sing that breathe-in song? It just makes me feel better, and it helps me know I'm safe." ERUUF has helped keep us safe in body and spirit. As we wind down our pledge campaign, I hope you'll join me in submitting your pledge cards or navigating the pledge website. Each of our contributions make a difference in how this place thrives and how within these walls and outside in our community and in the world. And I'm thrilled to be here with each of you. Thank you.
Hello. Over the last few weeks, we've focused our pledge drive on who we are. A great concept, and as usual, ERUUF took it even further. We didn't just focus on who we are in these times, we dared to dream of who we want to be in the time to come. We heard from Sophie and Mel and fellowship founders Rick and Georgie Searles. We've discussed the healing spirit of ERUUF for those of us who have had religion weaponized against us. We've spoken of how strange yet good it felt to experience love, acceptance, and belonging for no other reason than just who we are and the fact that we exist. We spoke of how the world forces us to focus on differences, yet we at ERUUF know that regardless of the differences, you are mine and I am yours. We are family. That this is where we come when there's nowhere else to turn. We still know that we can come here. We realize that we cannot learn from each other if we aren't in the same space. Like Michael Fields, many of us don't come despite our differences, we come because of them. We spoke of the fact that we're a beacon of light, hope, and love in this community and beyond. How we strive to be radically welcoming to all, including those who come just to see what those wacky UUs are up to. For we know that curiosity may get folks here, but it's the love and the respect that we show that will keep them coming back. Love it. While fundraising for my nonprofit, I told the potential funders that I've come to realize that I had all the money I needed to remove Black, brown, and impoverished people from the street. But that there wasn't a day that goes by that I don't have to beg for money to keep them healthy, whole, and free. That the forces that push fear versus love will do whatever it takes to create the world that they envision. But guess what? So will we. ERUUF is where I choose to do this work. in these times and with these people. That is why I give. That is why I'm a sustainer. And that's why I'm inviting you to join me in making ERUUF the place that we envision it to be. Being your pledge co-chair has been my great, great pleasure. Ashe.
Come on down and join me, friends. Come on down. You're going to want to be close for this story. There's some really cute pictures, I promise. Good morning. Good job. Yay, come on. There's room for everyone. There we go. Still got some seats. Today, we're reading a story all about friendship and how to be a good friend, and especially about how to create a loving space with your friends. Sometimes, as you use, we call that beloved community. And so we're going to see what that looks like for this group of friends. Today's story is Strictly No Elephants, written by Lisa Manchev and illustrated by Taeyun Yu. The trouble with having a tiny elephant for a pet is that you never quite fit in. Does anyone here have an elephant for a pet? No? No one else has an elephant. Every day, I take my elephant for a walk. His is a very thoughtful sort of walk. Look at him being a good friend and holding the umbrella. He doesn't like the cracks in the sidewalk much. I always go back and help him over. That's what friends do. Lift each other over the cracks. Today, I'm walking my tiny elephant to number 17. It's Pet Club Day, and everyone will be there. Do we think he's going to make some elephant friends at Pet Club? You don't think so? Let's see. Come along. There's a good boy. I coax him the last few feet. It'll be fine. When I look up, there's a sign on the door. Strictly no elephants. They can't go to Pet Club, can they? My tiny elephant leads me back to the sidewalk, never minding the cracks. That's what friends do. Brave the scary things for you. Aw, look how sad everyone is in this picture. That's a sad elephant. Everyone else is blue, but do you see anyone who's in color like our elephant? Do we see someone else? I wonder who it is. Did you try to go to the pet club meeting too? The girl asks. Yes, I say, but they don't allow elephants. The sign didn't mention skunks, the girl says, but they don't want us to play with them either. They don't know any better, I tell her. He doesn't stink, the girl adds. No, he doesn't, I agree. What if we start our own club? That's a good idea. Come along, I say, making certain that my tiny elephant follows me, because that's what friends do. Never leave anyone behind. Look at all the friends they found on their walk. There's a lot of people who didn't fit in with Pet Club. We can play here, one of our new friends says. All of us. So we paint our own sign. Can everyone see the sign on their clubhouse? It used to say, strictly no strangers, no spoil sports. But after the experience, they're going to change it to say, all are welcome. My tiny elephant will give you directions if you need them. Because that's what friends do. Look, they created their own pet club where everyone belongs. Thank you for joining me for the story today. Now we're going to head out to the courtyard and go to our classes.
Peace, salam, shalom. 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 We believe in peace. Shalom. Peace, salam, shalom. Peace, salam, shalom. Peace, salam, shalom. Peace, salam, shalom. Would you please rise in body or spirit for our next hymn, which is This Little Light of Mine, number 118 in the gray hymnal, and the words are on the screen. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. Everywhere I go, I'm gonna let it shine. Everywhere I go, I'm gonna let it shine. Everywhere I go, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. Building up a world, I'm gonna let it shine. Building up a world, I'm gonna let it shine. Building up a world, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. Please turn and greet your neighbor.
Please join me now in the spirit of prayer and meditation. Spirit of life, as we gather this morning, may be open to the gifts of this day, of this season. Spring is here, a time for a renewal of life into new and creative forms, a time of rebirth and blossoming, a time of transformation and joy. It is a time where we recognize the reality that everything changes. From the darkness and dormancy of winter comes the seeds of new life and possibilities. As we enter the spring season with hope, how will we be renewed in this moment? How will we be transformed through this gathering of beloved community? May we always work to offer a place of welcome and belonging for all who come, to feel a part of something greater. May we be blessed by our connections to one another. May we open with body and being and live to love and be a blessing on this earth. May we lift up gratitude for the fullness of our lives, even when our hearts are pulled in so many directions by the challenges of this world. As a people who care for one another, let us lift up our prayers and concerns. We hold in our hearts the family, friends, and loved ones of Dr. Gia Sisson, the staunch advocate for mental health and cancer awareness in the Philippines. She passed away this week. We hold in our hearts and remember the sadness and grief that informs our mission to side with love again and again. We hold in our hearts all the suffering and disenfranchisement of our people that ignites our passion for justice, equity, and wholeness. We hold in our hearts people, places all over the world that they may know support and peace in the midst of conflict, war, and loss. We hold in our hearts lives that are hard, full of struggle, overwhelm, or despair. May they know support and safety. In all of our prayers and all of our blessings, may we give thanks for the support of community, the light of hope, and the faith that there will be better days. In a spirit of unity, let us breathe in peace and breathe out love, and honor this moment together in silence. And so it is. Amen. Ashe.
This is us for these times. There is more to do than pray. This is us. We don't mind to help carry you all the way. How do we get there together, past our greatest fears? You can find love at the river. She'll wipe away your tears. This is us for these times when the stormy veil won't pass. This is us, all in kind, even though we may not last. How do we get there together? Wounds don't always heal, but you can find love at the river. She knows just how you feel. This is us for these times. Let us pass around the light. This is us. We can find where hope shines through the night. How do we get there together with every breath we share? You will find love at the river. Oh, you will find love at the river. Yes, you will find love at the river. You might find healing at the river. What about joy at the river, and peace at the river? You'll find family and hope and vision at the river. You'll find belonging and strength if you need it at the river. Oh. But how do we get there together? Past all our doubts and fear. You will find love at the river. She's waiting for you there.
Thank you so much, Johan. You know, we have so many gifts here at ERUUF. Johan wrote that song this week. I got an email from him, I think it was on Monday, an email on Monday after Sunday saying, here's a song I wrote with a little recording. And I was like, what? We have so many gifts here, so many gifts. I was saying when we were in our worship meeting at the first service that the only other person who moves that fast is Lisa Jones. If I say, I need a poem, she will do the same thing. I'll say, I need a poem in the morning. And in the evening, she was like, here's the thing I threw together. And I'm like, what? so much at this river. Yes, indeed. And we were made for these times, every one of us, which if you think about it, is not odd because after all, we're here, right? So let's all take another deep breath as we consider that simple reality being made for these times specifically. Breathe in and breathe out. And for some of you who have lived long enough, we were made for an arc of time that has spanned even further than just this moment. We have borne witness to some things individually and collectively. Right, Virginia? In Redford. A question that is asked at the start of some of the meetings I lead or participate in is, how goes it with your spirit? And I've been thinking that perhaps the better question that acknowledges the religious pluralism that exists here could be, how goes it with your heart right now? Your heart not only in its physicality, but as the center of your being, the place that holds the core of your light, if you will. How goes it there for you? And so let us take a moment and simply breathe into that question. How goes it with your heart? And when you have an answer, because I'm really asking a question, I invite you to call it out in a loud voice as if you were calling a child at the far edge of the playground. Just a word, a single word, a feeling word. Happy, sad, glad, angry, worried, excited, hopeful. How goes it with your heart in this moment? Thank you. During our time together last week, as many of you know, the greeters collected index cards from about 185 of you over both of our services who shared the concerns beyond just us that are weighing upon you, that have been breaking your heart. I read all of the cards as I promised I would, and some of your concerns were just as heartbreaking for me. And I found my throat swelling and tears forming as I read what you would want to see us address when we are considering others and the world beyond just us. Our greatest concern by far has to do with children and adults living in poverty and experiencing homelessness and the lack of affordable housing and food and health care. Next were deep concerns about political extremism, threats to democracy, the normalization of hatred, and what has become an inability to engage in civil discourse, and the very grave concerns about voting and the outcomes of the coming elections, both national and local. Third were concerns about public education, book banning, and the effects of all these upon our children and young adults. And we are also concerned about climate change, deforestation in the environment, mental health among adults and children, LGBTQ+ rights, especially among transgender children, bodily autonomy and reproductive health care, racial, ethnic, and religious hatred, immigrant rights, and finally also conflicts around the world. It was almost 25 years ago in her letter to a young activist in troubled times that Clarissa Pinkola Estes, the mestiza Latina American poet, psychoanalyst, and post-trauma specialist, published the now iconic words, "Do not lose heart. We were made for these times." She went on to say, ours is a time of almost daily, jaw-dropping astonishment and often righteous rage over the latest degradations of what matters most to visionary people. She went on to say, I would like to take your hands for a moment and assure you that you are built well for these times. Despite your sense of doubt, your frustrations in writing all that needs to change right now, or even feeling you have lost the map entirely, you are not without resource. You are not alone. So part of why I chose to read aloud your concerns beyond just us from last week, and what was, to be sure, a less than scientific sampling, is because it is important that each and every one of us knows this, that at least here in this community, you are not alone. There are others who share your concerns. And the action groups within our justice ministry are addressing almost all these concerns, which does not take the rest of us off the hook. It means we are not without resource, and each of us has an opportunity to become involved in addressing some of these issues in small or large ways right here at ERUUF. All are welcome and all are needed because this is us for these times. About 3 years ago, at the height of the pandemic and after the January 6th insurrection, I was in an online sangha with the Buddhist teacher Kyra Jewel Lingo, who wrote a beautiful book called We Were Made for These Times, inspired by the very moving Pinkola Estes essay. In fact, I highly recommend a reading or perhaps a rereading of the essay in its entirety if you're already familiar with it. And if you're not, please do read it. It's readily available online. And indeed, it is also an inspiration for the theme of our pledge drive. Reverend Daniel will come forward now to read a part of Kyra Jewel Lingo's book, We Were Made for These Times.
We were made for these times. See that everything you have experienced in your life has led you to this moment, which is exactly where you need to be. You were made for these times, to meet this moment as it is, for whatever it brings. You have everything you need to do that, feel that confidence, that ease. As we are facing not only individual challenges and transitions, but also collective ones, take a moment now to connect with one aspect of our current collective crises. One aspect that is particularly important or resonant for you. Maybe it's connected to how humans are harming the earth or oppressing each other. Maybe it's related to perpetual wars or the suffering of refugees and immigrants, or systemic racism, or crushing poverty and debt. Feel the weightiness. Feel the weightiness of whichever issue or crisis you have chosen. And now see in your mind's eye what it would mean for the collective to address this difficulty with wisdom. Visualize what real freedom, justice, and compassion would look and feel like if this crisis were resolved, deeply understood, and no longer perpetuated. Reparations made, repentance offered on a global scale, wealth equitably shared, reliable structures set up that will offer true safety lasting peace, and profound healing for all humans, all species, and the earth herself. Open to the possibility that this could exist, and notice how it feels in your body. Now, imagine that you could contribute to this. We were made for these times in every way.
So what does it mean to be made for these times, especially for those of us here at ERUUF? How do we live into that notion and not become dispirited and filled with despair, or to want to put our heads in the sand and not deal at all, knowing all along that our hearts are aching and breaking? What I love in Kyra Jewell's offering of her book is that as those made for these times, she suggests how we might navigate them by cultivating certain qualities within ourselves, which then becomes the ground of being from which the work beyond ourselves is sourced and accomplished. She speaks of 3 essential qualities to cultivate a viable future as individuals and even as a species. They are presence, courage, and resilience. And I offer a brief description of these qualities she speaks of, which cannot really be fully addressed in the time we have available to us now. But I believe these qualities also allow us to lean more deeply into our own UU principles and values as well. So many of us have encountered the idea of presence through practices of mindfulness, that is, literally becoming present to what I often call the eternal now, this moment. And this moment, I heard a baby cry from the chapel. Kyra Jewell refers to this as coming home to ourselves, when we bring our minds back to our bodies, which I also know can be emotionally or physically challenging for some of us. And when that is the case, we offer compassion to ourselves, because understanding this about ourselves is also present awareness. And so our commitment then might be to become present to a small thing at a time with assistance, because the only way to encounter inner healing is to turn towards that which needs healing. And this is often most helpful when we do that with the assistance of others. Ultimately, though, we begin to develop presence as we shift from worries about the future or the past and to connect with the reality around us as it is in this moment, in the here and the now. And in so connecting, to begin to survey what parts of us need more support, how we might take good care of ourselves right now, or how we might take care of the single thing that needs to be addressed right now. You know, when I find myself slipping into overwhelm and anxiousness about all the things that I have to do and that are going on and that I'm responsible for, I shift into now and shift into this moment, because I can only do a single thing, this one thing right now. I am no longer a multitasker. Right now, one thing. Multitasking, as far as I'm concerned, is overrated. Actually, neurological research has proven that to be the case. And I am no longer the parent of young children, so parents, forgive me. I feel you. The other call is to become present to the person who is with us in this moment, right now. What do they need? What do we need? What does this moment need? And this is all so important because, as Kyra Jules says, the future is made of this moment. If we take good care of this moment, even when it is very difficult, we are taking good care of the future. And so we develop our courage by coming to understand uncertainty as a gift rather than a source of anxiety, fear, or worry. When we assume or are so sure of what will happen or what needs to happen, we cut ourselves off from all the many other possibilities that might be available to us. Another aspect of courage is in accepting what is. Not that we should leave unaddressed the things we can address, the things we should address, but there are also times when a rough and difficult road is just that, a rough and difficult road. Our lives and the world is inevitably filled with challenges and pain, and also with great wisdom and love. Kyra Jules refers to acceptance as the profound practice of surrendering, letting go, leaning toward, not pushing against or stiffening. Through cultivating presence, we learn not to avoid our suffering, but to take good care of it. And lastly, though not finally, courage calls us to embrace the realities of impermanence. That is, surely as we are alive, life all around us is constantly changing. It is a key mark of existence, of living. The Buddha offered an exacting meditation on impermanence called the 5 Remembrances, which asks us to remember 5 things each day. That we are of the nature to grow old, to have ill health, and to die. That our loved ones are of the nature to change, and we can't avoid being separated from them. And lastly, that our actions are our only true possessions. We don't get to take anything else with us when we pass away. Those are some tough teachings from the Buddha. Kyra Jules suggests that we quietly reflect upon what actions do you want to take or not take today, knowing that they are your only true possessions, the ground on which you stand, or move, or rest. The last of the 3 practices suggests that we cultivate resilience. Resilience has been getting a bad rap of late, and I agree to some extent that with that point, because resilience often points us towards something that is wrong, that needs to be set right. And our need to be resilient is only because something is very wrong that hasn't been fixed. So rather than aiming for resilience, we need to aim for things to get set right. What I say to all that, however, is that it's a both and. We should aim, we need to aim to set things right, and we can still cultivate resilience for when we need it, because it is our resilience that will allow us to make it through difficulties until the change we seek is brought about. Resilience becomes medicine for survival and getting ourselves through. 2 ways of cultivating resilience is through gratitude and generosity. Gratitude is my personal favorite and easiest practice, a way of noticing, being present to something that is good in my life each day, whether it is the sun upon my face, the laughter with friends, or as I did yesterday, the company I spent with my sons at the movies watching Dune. At the end of the movie, I was like, wow. If you haven't seen it, see it. I was also really upset too, but I digress. And in our discussion later with my children, as you could see, the joy it brought me to know that we love movies and that we look forward to our monthly movie day. My children are grown men. It is wonderful. I love that we do this together. I don't need to be grateful. No one will know if I've not expressed gratitude each day. But I do it because my gratitude becomes a muscle I exercise that shows up strong during times of challenge when it would be easy and even understandable to others if I were to choose to slump in sadness or despair. I choose to cultivate the energy of hope and joy through gratitude. And with generosity, no matter how it is offered, it allows us to know that there is enough, indeed more than enough, for every single human being on this planet. I am generous because I believe the nature of the universe is generous, and I contribute in a real way to that generosity in how I give to others, with my hands open rather than clenched tight. As a spiritual practice, Kyra Jewell names what she calls the 5 happinesses that have been scientifically proven to increase our happiness and our resilience. They are 1, to meditate or pray each day, to exercise, to be aware of 3 new things we are grateful for each day, to do a random or conscious act of kindness. That's what I call generosity. And to journal about a happy moment from the day. I'll leave you with this quote from Clarissa Pinkola Estes. She says, "One of the most calming and powerful actions you can do to set things right is to display the lantern of your soul in shadowy times like these, to be fierce and to show mercy towards others. Both are acts of immense bravery and greatest necessity." Amen, Ashe. Let us make it so, my friends. Peace. So all that is seen and experienced in this community is due to the pledges and gifts of generosity and imagination, time, talent, and treasure contributed by our members and also by you who are our friends and visitors who appreciate what you experience here and want to see it continue to flourish and thrive. In these final days of our annual pledge drive, know that your gift of any amount as a pledge toward our coming year's budget is received with appreciation toward our $1.1 million budget, toward paying our staff fairly and equitably, which is as much an issue of inflation as it is an issue of justice. And for all that is tangible and intangible that you see and experience, for the vision we hold and dreams we want to make manifest, because this is us for these times. Greeters, come forward, please.
Gonna keep on moving forward. Keep on moving forward. Keep on moving forward. Never turning back. Never turning back.
Gonna keep on moving proudly.
Keep on moving proudly. Keep on moving proudly. Never turning back. Never turning back. Gonna keep on singing loudly. Keep on singing loudly. Keep on singing loudly. Never turning back. Never turning back.
Gonna keep on loving boldly.
Keep on loving boldly. Keep on loving boldly. Never turning back. Never turning back. Gonna reach across our borders. Reach across our borders. Reach across our borders. Never turning back. Never turning back.
Gonna work to stop the killing.
Work to stop the killing. Work to stop the killing. Never turning back. Never turning back. Gonna fight for justice and freedom. Fight for justice and freedom. Fight for justice and freedom. Never turning back. Never turning back.
Gonna keep on moving forward.
Keep on moving forward. Keep on moving forward. Never turning back. Never turning back. Never turning back. Never turning back.
We give thanks for all of the wonderful gifts of our beloved community. You ready, Wendy?
Please rise, embody your spirit, and join us in the closing hymn, There's a River Flowing in My Soul, 1007 in the Teal Hymnal, and of course the words are on the screen. There's a river flowing in my soul. There's a river flowing in my soul. And it's telling me that I'm
offer you the closing words, I just wanted to let those of you who might not be aware, there is a meeting scheduled in the fellowship hall. I think it's at, 12:30? At 1. And this is a meeting around the appointment, the potential vote, the vote to appoint Reverend Deborah Kerr as Minister Emerita of ERUUF at the next annual meeting. So this is an opportunity for you to ask questions, for you to share your thoughts and ideas or whatever you might want to share at that gathering. So please stick around. It would be great to find out more what that all means and to be engaged in that process. And that, as with our annual meeting, votes are only made by members. So if you're not yet a member, just saying. Our closing words today are from the young, brilliant Amanda Gorman from The Hill We Climb. And she writes, "We did not feel prepared to be the heirs of such a terrifying hour, but within it, we found the power to author a new chapter, to offer hope and laughter to ourselves. So while once we asked, how could we possibly prevail over catastrophe? Now we assert, how could catastrophe possibly prevail over us? Let us not forget this, my friends. Amen, ashe, blessed be. Go now in peace and love."